What is up? Happy Thursday. Can't believe it's Thursday. Time has been going by so fast. Let me get my glasses. All right, I hope everyone's doing well. It is a fantastic Thursday, March 26th. In a 2 days, there's going to be a big No Kings rally, which will be interesting. But yeah, we got a lot of stuff to cover today, a lot of interesting stuff. We are going to be talking about gas prices. We are going to be talking about AI because it's getting more serious now and legislators are starting to do stuff about it. And then we're also gonna talk about unions. I love me some unions, and I am over the moon excited about this book I got. Actually, I didn't get it. I checked it out at my school library. Sorry, I'm trying to remove all the sensitive information. Like, it's just my name and my student ID number, but y'all don't need that. Okay. Yeah. So I got this book from my school library, and it was not actually from Cal State San Bernardino. Hey, Stardust, I see you in the chat. Stardust City Hags, happy Thursday. Thank you for the purple heart. We love purple and we love hearts. I hope you're doing well. So I got this book called Trade Union Politics, American Unions and Economic Change, 1960s through the 90s, which I guess is probably the biggest chunk, well, the most recent chunk of American history in regards to unions. So that's pretty exciting. I'm not gonna read this on stream, but I just wanted to share, you know, like it's a book. It's really cool because I wanted to do more research on unions, and this book specifically focuses on the politics of unions, which is really cool because we don't really know how those work. I should say I don't know how those work. I don't know how those things go. So some interesting chapters. I know, I'm sorry, I'm being a big nerd about this book, but it's cool. Some interesting chapters I look forward to reading are literally the introduction, patterns of class conflict in the United States since 1960s, which we've been doing, and then the second chapter is literally titled Political Economy After Reagan. So we all know how much we love Ronald. What is Ronald Reagan's middle name? All right, let's get right into it. Thank you for being here. Definitely like this video, you know, here, let me like the video of the music we were listening to. Hit the thumbs up on this video. Subscribe if you are not subscribed. I will be streaming way more often. I stream pretty often as it is already. And if you want to catch my unique political views, this is the place to do it. Stardust City Hag said, Ronald McDonald Reagan. That's right. His middle name is Maku. Ronald Maku Reagan. Sorry, Maku is the way you say it in say McDonald's in Japanese. Oh my god, that's a picture of him? Disgusting. He doesn't have a middle name? Ronald Wilson Reagan. Ronald Wilson Reagan. Ronald W. Reagan. Okay. Let's start by watching. Hold on. Well, I want to read this Paul Krugman, but let's watch someone else talk about it real quick. Let's see. It's called The Oil. Let's do it. Futures. I still do not know what futures are. Okay, here we go. From MS Now. No. Here, let's see. CBS Evening News.
We turn now to a mystery in the oil markets and the suspicion that some people are getting very rich by trading on inside information. In the minutes before President Trump's announcement Monday that the U.S. would postpone strikes against Iranian energy targets, traders suddenly bet hundreds of millions of dollars on oil prices falling, which is exactly what they did. To help us understand, Jill Schlesinger is here, CBS News business analyst. Jill, why does this stand out and why should people care?
Well, I think the most important thing and what stands out is that we saw a surge of trading activity. So if you look at this at 649 to 651, there's this circle there. Yeah. That's a big jump up in activity. And then soon after, we see the price of oil at the top, and then it drops by 10%, literally in minutes.
Wow.
15 minutes before this non-public information is out.
So somebody might have known something a little too early.
It does appear that way.
Somebody might have known something a little too early.
That is not considered public information, and someone seems to know it. And that's illegal, Tony. I mean, that's the issue, is that this is essentially insider trading.
So is it policed? What do we do about it?
The thing about insider trading is we've known about it forever. We have so many different ways to do it. It's usually triggered by this kind of trading activity, and we get an investigation. But right now, I don't think we're going to get a big investigation. The Trump administration says light on regulation, and there's not a lot of funding for folks at any of these regulatory bodies. So I think for the people at home, it kind of feels like it's not a level playing field because this looks like it is not.
All right, Joe. Thank you very much.
Wow. Okay. So straight up, they called it insider trading. Nah, I want to see something from the right. Is there a Fox News insider trading? Here, let's see the MS now.
The size.
8 a.m. yesterday, there was an unusual burst of activity in the market. Someone or some group bought large amounts of stock index futures and sold off large amounts of oil futures. Their timing could not have been better. Just 15 minutes later, President Trump posted on Truth Social that he was halting planned strikes on Iranian power plants. The market rallied instantaneously. S&P 500 futures jumped more than 2.5% before the opening bell. And whoever made that early morning bet likely walked away with a massive profit. Joining us, financial journalist and publisher of The Message of the Markets on Substack, Ron Insana. MS Now columnist and contributor Philip Bump, and Punchbowl News co-founder and MS Now political analyst Jake Sherman. Also, Jonathan Lemire, who's stuck around with us. So, Ron, explain why this is so curious.
Well, the timing, the size. I mean, it's not very often that you see $1.5 billion worth of S&P futures purchased several minutes before a major announcement that, for all intents and purposes, probably includes some classified information to a certain extent, and then selling oil at the same time. That means you knew something. I mean, if you're buying stocks and you're selling oil based on a statement that's going to make the stock market go up and the oil market go down, that has to be more than coincidence, Katie.
That smell of insider trading.
100%.
And wouldn't that alone prompt an investigation? Shouldn't we see someone say, we're going to investigate this?
Well,
I remember Martha Stewart.
Senator Chris Murphy from Connecticut did say it should be investigated. Now, whether or not he has authority on his committee to get something like that going. But yeah, it should prompt the SEC to look into trading there. It should be illegal in the prediction markets as well, not currently. But yeah, the head of the SEC Enforcement Division, who was in charge of looking into these things, just resigned not too many days ago. And so we'll see if there's any appetite among regulators to examine this.
Jonathan, it seems like this person or these people would have access to information. I mean, that's a very particular set of trades.
Yes.
And it comes 15 minutes before Donald Trump makes a specific announcement. So has anybody asked the White House about whether Donald Trump is tipping people off or people around Donald Trump are tipping people off, whether these trades are coming from within the White House or maybe from friends outside of the White House? Do they have any answers?
No.
Not that I'm aware of to this point, but
they're going to keep it secret.
Certainly raising all sorts of questions here. This isn't the first time there's been stuff like this has wondered. We've seen some prediction market trades about some military campaigns where it seems like people have made bets and made money
on the poly market
in advance of something the Pentagon was about to do. And this here coming yesterday morning, this would have been a relatively, we assume, small set of people who would have this information. This is obviously, it is indeed classified. It was coming up against a deadline in which the President of the United States had set that if had he followed through, it could have devastated Iran and potentially even changed the Middle East for years to come if he really wiped out a nation's energy infrastructure. So to back off of that, I mean, it was not perhaps surprising that Trump would do something ahead of the markets opening, because we know that he cares deeply about the price of oil, and he cares deeply about Wall Street's reaction. But it would be a pretty limited number of people who would know definitively, who would then put money out there in the market like this. So if there was an appetite for investigation, well, there probably would be a trail to find. I think the sense is in this administration with this president, you could probably, it feels like for many people, feels like the wild, wild west. You can get away with anything.
I mean, it's fishy as a one-off, but it's especially fishy because, as John mentioned, Phil, there's a pattern.
There is a pattern.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, the flip side of this, there's the insider trading aspect, but then there's also the question of market manipulation, right? The question of whether or not Donald Trump was explicitly trying to move the markets in this direction, especially since the immediate reaction to that was Iran saying, we didn't have any such communication. We don't know what he's talking about, right? The fact that this came out right beforehand suggests that there was an effort to try and do exactly what Jonathan just referred to.
Bro, mystery trader made $400,000 betting on Maduro's downfall. Here, I literally have that article pulled up right now because I wanted to, like, this is where we first saw the insider trading idea, like the like suspicious trading happening. Let's read this real quick. It's from PBS News. I think it's a wire from another thing, but okay. So a $400,000 payout after Maduro's capture puts prediction markets in the spotlight. And those were prediction markets, the freaking, crypto trading and those stupid Kalshi, Polymarket, whatever the other ones are. Here's how they work. Prediction markets let people wager on anything from basketball games to the outcomes of presidential elections. And recently, the downfall of former Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro. The latter is drawing renewed scrutiny into this murky world of speculative 24/7 transactions. 24/7. Not even the stock market is 24/7, I think. Last week, an anonymous trader pocketed more than $400,000 after betting that Maduro would soon be out of office. The bulk of the trader's bids on the platform Polymarket were made mere hours before President Donald Trump announced the surprise nighttime raid that led to Maduro's capture, fueling online suspicions of potential insider trading because the timing of the wagers and the traders' narrow activity on the platform. Others argued that the risk of getting caught was too big and that the previous speculation about Maduro's future could have led to such transactions. Polymarket did not respond to request for comment. Of course not, because this is one of their users. This is not Polymarket doing it. This is one of Polymarket's users exploiting their system. The commercial use of prediction markets has skyrocketed in recent years, opening the door to people to wage their money on the likelihood of a growing list of future events. But despite some eye-catching windfalls, traders still lose money every day. And in terms of government oversight in the U.S., the trades are categorized differently than traditional forms of gambling, raising questions about transparency and risk. Beyond 3139 said, I still don't understand how platforms like Kalshi are not legally classified as gambling. 100%. They are. It's literally betting, predicting. It's no different than like, horse racing, right? Horse racing is like the most, in my mind, one of the most easiest ways to understand that how gambling works, right? You bet on whichever horse. You can bet on all the horses you want. You could just, if that horse loses, you're going to lose that money. But if you want to maximize your ability to win, you're going to bet on all the horses, right? So this is exactly like Kalshi, Polymarket. There's a third one I'm forgetting. It also has Poly in the name, I think. All these trading, or I guess future prediction markets, that's what we're literally calling them, prediction markets, they are literally just gambling. And I mean, why should we be surprised when sport betting is literally I don't know if it's the worst it's ever been, but it's the most accessible it's ever been. You know, you don't have to leave your house to go bet on fantasy football or horse racing or whatever sports, you know, that people are betting on now. You don't even have to leave the bathroom to do that. You can sit and trade on your phone while you're taking a dump, you know? So it's just so much more easier for people to spend their money, so much more easier for people to lose their money, and so much easier for people to cheat, to do insider trading, to do whatever it is that the people in the Trump administration are doing. Who knows if Trump is like, yeah, we're going to make money off of this. It might just be there's been speculation that it's like Barron who's doing the trading on Polymarket. But, you know, it's literally anyone who has access to President Donald Trump or any of his, you know, administration most likely has insider information, because they ain't trying to keep it secret. They're just, you know, blabbing away. You know, Donald Trump is an open book. But yeah, thank you for that comment beyond 3139. Let's continue with the article. How prediction markets work. All right. The scope of topics involved in prediction markets can range immensely, from escalation in geopolitical conflicts to pop culture moments and even the fate of conspiracy theories. Recently, there has been a surge of wages on election and sports games. But some users have also bet millions on things like a rumored and ultimately unrealized secret finale for this Netflix Stranger Things, whether the U.S. government would confirm the existence of extraterrestrial life, and how much billionaire Elon Musk might post on social media this month. Yes, people are literally betting over the most silliest things, over the most, I don't even know, over the most nominal things. Minuscule. People are betting over the most minuscule things, right? Like, if aliens are real or not, how much Elon Musk is going to post. Like, that, those are crazy things to bet on. Might as well just bet on how heavy, how much... No, that's too crude. I was going to say, might as well just bet on like how many times I drink out of my water bottle on stream. Like, that's crazy. That's crazy things to wager, to gamble over, right? Okay, continuing with the article. In industry speak, what someone buys or sells in a prediction market is called an event contract. They're typically advertised as yes or no wagers, and the price of one fluctuates between $0 and $1, reflecting what traders are collectively willing to pay based on a 0 to 100% chance of whether they think the event will occur. That's so confusing. Oh, but here they have a picture of Polymarket, and the event is Maduro out by December 31st or January 31st. And you could either bet no on that one or bet yes on this one. And when was Maduro captured? I think it was in January, before January 31st. So everyone who bet yes on that won. Okay. The more likely traders think an event will occur, the more expensive that contract will become. And as the odds change over time, users can cash out early to make incremental profits or try to avoid higher loss on what they've already invested. Proponents of prediction markets argue putting money on the line leads to better forecast. Experts like Coleman Strumpf, an economist professor at Wake Forest University, think there's value in monitoring these platforms for potential news. I agree. Pointing to prediction markets' past success with some election outcomes, including the 2024 presidential race. Still, it's never a quote-unquote crystal ball, he noted. The prediction markets can be wrong, too. Who is behind all of the trading is also pretty murky. While the companies running the platforms collect personal information of their users in order to verify identities and payments, most people can trade under anonymous pseudonyms online. I'm just, they can trade anonymously, making it difficult for the public to know who is profiting off many event contracts. In theory, people investing their money may be closely following certain events, but others could just be randomly guessing. Critics stress that the ease and speed of joining these 24 wagers leads to financial losses every day, particularly harming users who may already struggle with gambling, of course. The space also broadens possibilities for potential insider trading. So these are the two biggest downfalls of prediction markets. The major players. Polymarket is one of the largest prediction markets in the world, where its users can fund event contracts through cryptocurrency, debit or credit cards, and bank transfers. Wow. However you want to spend your money on gambling, they make it easy to spend your money. Restrictions vary by country, but in the US, the reach of these markets has expanded rapidly over recent years, coincidingly with shifting policies out of Washington. Former President Joe Biden was aggressive in cracking down on prediction markets, and following a 2022 settlement with the Commodity Futures Trading Commission, Polymarket was barred from operating in the country. That changed under Trump late last year, when Polymarket announced it would be returning to the U.S. after receiving clearance from the commission. American-based users can now join a platform waitlist. Oh, but no, this is from January. You can already go back onto Polymarket right now. Meanwhile, Polymarket's top competitor, Kalshi, has been a federally regulated exchange since 2020. The platform offers similar ways to buy and sell event contracts as Polymarket, and it currently allows event contracts on elections and sports nationwide. Kalshi won court approval just weeks before the 2024 election to let Americans put money on upcoming presidential or political races, and began to host sports trading about a year ago. The space is now crowded with other big names. Sports betting giants DraftKings and FanDuel both launched prediction platforms last month. Wow. We should totally look at DraftKings, and well, no, I don't want to, but you know what I mean. Online broker Robinhood is widening its own offerings. Okay, Robinhood, I know, is just like day trading. You could buy and sell stocks on there. But of course, now they are also doing that. That's crazy. That the sports betting, DraftKings and FanDuel, that of course it makes sense that they would expand into the prediction market. Why wouldn't they? They're losing money by not getting in on that. But man, it's going to be so easy for anyone and everyone to gamble. Trump's social media site Truth Social has also promised to offer an in-platform prediction market through a partnership with Crypto.com. And one of the president's sons, Donald Trump Jr., holds advisory roles both at Polymarket and Kalshi. Wow. Wow. That's insider trading. Oh my God. Okay. The train has left the station, and these event contracts, they're not going to go away, said Melinda Roth, a visiting associate professor at Washington and Lee University School of Law. Yeah, they're not going to go away. So like, we got to figure out how to like reduce or regulate them. So that way people, I mean, yes, I think people should be allowed to do sports betting, you know, if you're responsible about it and, you know, you're not harming anyone else, go for it. Go do betting and go do, you know, whatever. you know, Beyond 3139 said, wow, could it be more obvious? Exactly. Donald Trump Jr. is on the, plays advisory roles to Polymarket and Kalshi. Polymarket and Kalshi are competitors, right? But yet they have a shared advisor. It's crazy. Of course, Donald Trump Jr. is like there all the time in contact with his dad. It might very well be Donald Trump Jr. that's doing these the insider trading. We don't know. Nobody knows. All we know is that someone has information and they're using it to an unfair advantage over the rest of us. And it's like, at this point, I don't even care about gambling. I mean, yes, I care about it. I think it's bad, and there's a lot of people that are addicted to it, and it's too accessible. But at this point, it's like, man, I just want everyone to unite on the fact that there's someone in the Trump administration that is doing insider trading, because I really genuinely think that is something everyone can get behind and be like, yes, Donald Trump is cheating. Someone is using him. Someone inside his administration is getting money unfairly. Who is that person? There needs to be an investigation, because I mean, for freak's sake, we did a whole investigation into Martha Stewart, and she went to jail for not even doing insider trading, but we were under the impression she was doing insider trading. I think she went to jail for lying under oath or something, but still, Martha Stewart got the book thrown at her for doing insider trading in her stupid little, it was just her investing into a company, I think, that was cryogenics or something, to the Walt Disney thing where you freeze your head, and then when there's enough technology in the future, they can bring you back to life, and then you can live out your life in this future world where there's all the diseases are cured. But okay, that's besides the point. There are all these people that, believe in the system or one way or another, all these financial people that are like, yes, here are the set rules. Yes, sometimes people break those rules. Sometimes people do loopholes, but we all collectively came together and said, we are going to call out insider trading when we see it, because insider trading is not good for any of us, right? But okay, let's continue with the article. Because they're positioned as selling event contracts, prediction markets are regulated by the CFTC. That means they can avoid state-level restrictions or bans in place for traditional gambling and sports betting today. Oh, I see. They're classified differently, even though they're the same freaking thing. It's a huge loophole, said Carl Lockhart, an assistant professor of law at DePaul University, who has studied this space. You have to just comply with one set of regulations rather than rules from each state or country. Sports betting is taking center stage. There are a handful of big states, like California and Texas, for example, where sports betting is still illegal. But people can now wager on games, athlete trades, and more through event contracts. Oh, I see. That makes a lot of sense. So you're not necessarily betting on who's going to win, but you're betting on how they're going to win, I guess, an event contract. A growing number of states and tribes are suing to stop this. And lawyers expect litigation to eventually reach the U.S. Supreme Court, as added regulations from the Trump administration seem unlikely. Federal law bars event contracts related to gaming as well as war, terrorism, and assassinations, Roth said, which could put some prediction market trades on shaky ground, at least in the U.S., but users might still find ways to buy certain contracts without traveling abroad or connecting to different VPNs. While the CFTC will take any of that has yet to be seen, but the agency, which did not respond to request for comment, has already taken steps away from enforcement. Great. Despite overseeing trillions of dollars for the overall U.S. derivatives market, the CFTC is also much smaller than the SEC, the Securities Exchange Commission, and the same time event contracts are growing rapidly on prediction market platforms. There have been additional cuts to the CFTC's workforce and a wave of leadership departures under Trump's second term. Only 1 of 5 commissioner slots operating the agency is currently filled. Great. So the government agency that's supposed to be regulating this or monitoring this is completely, they're overworked and underpaid. Beyond 3139 said, reminds me of the big loophole with the hemp market and the THCA. You'll have to explain that a little bit more because I'm not too familiar. I think I know that like you can grow hemp as long as it doesn't have a certain percentage of THCA in it, I think. I may be wrong. I'm not sure. But yes, it is a very, very large loophole that's like just glaringly like, okay, it's a loophole. And you're supposed to use me as a loophole because it's a loophole. All right. The Hemp Farming Act of 2018, within the Agricultural Improvement Act of 2018, by defending legal hemp, specifically by its concentration of delta-9 tetrahydrocannabinol, whatever. That's whatever the THC is. The law inadvertently permitted the production and sale of other psychoactive cannabinoids derived from hemp, such as delta-8 THC and THCA, which I think THCA and delta-8 are, I mean, if they're derived from, okay, hold on. Beyond 3139 said, but they care to crack down on that, but not this. In simple, yes, you are correct. THCA turns right into THC when it is heated. Oh, okay. Got it. Thank you. I understand. So hemp can be sold if it has THCA in it, right? Not just THC. But you can't sell hemp that has the regular THC, the delta-9 THC, not the THCA. Crazy. Yes, crazy loopholes. And yeah, it's like, so now, yeah, now it's just like, okay, we're gonna get this THCA. Okay, Beyond 3139 said, so it could be derived from any state, as THCA causes, it doesn't contain THC, but as soon as you burn it, it turns into THC. Okay, thank you. Yes, big loophole. All right, back to the PBS article. Yeah, it boggles my mind. It boggles my mind too. It's like, you know, income tax, if you don't have a job, then do you technically have an income? Like, obviously, billionaires, wealthy people who don't have, you know, like a W-2, who don't have like a salary, how do they make money, right? Obviously, they have an income some way or another. But if you get, you know, your stock dividends, you know, those don't count as income. If you go out and take loans and use your collateral you use your wealthy collateral, it's like you don't need to that doesn't count as income, even because, you know, it's a loan. There's so many loopholes for so many people. There are loopholes for the people who want to buy them, if that makes sense. Beyond 3139 said, unrealized gains are what kill us all. Yep. All right, back to the PBS article. Still, other lawmakers calling for a stronger crackdown on potential insider trading in prediction markets particularly following the suspicion around last week Maduro's trade on Polymarket. On Friday, Democratic Representative Richie Torres introduced a bill aiming at curbing government employees' involvement in politically related event contracts. How are you going to do that? The bill has already gotten support from Kalshi CEO Tarek Mansour, who on LinkedIn maintained that insider trading has always been banned on his company's platform, but that more needs to be done to crack down on unregulated prediction markets. Oh, that's it. Okay. Thank you. But yes, the point of this article was that they have been making money on insider trading. Okay, let's go back and finish up this MS Now article.
Which is change what the markets are doing. You know, I think that one of the fundamental questions here for the administration and really for Trump supporters is, what does this tell us about Donald Trump's relationship with the elites? Donald Trump won re-election in part by running against the institutions of the American government and the institutions of power in the United States. This is him by having nothing happen with this. This is him saying the message that we knew all along, which is that Donald Trump is fine with the elites. He just doesn't like when the elites go after him. And I think that's a message that his...
Yeah, 100% Donald Trump was like, drain the swamp, right? Especially in 2016. He was like, there's all these people here, the elites, they don't, they're just ruining the American country. And he ran on draining the swamp. And literally his second term is just him like literally pumping in the worst swamp fluid ever into Washington, D.C. And it's like, what happened, homie? You said you were going to drain the swamp and you're just making the swamp worse. Like you're turning it into like the tar pit or something. I'm sorry, I'm being silly, but damn, drain the swamp and he just made the swamp worse.
Base is going to find very difficult to swallow.
Let me just give you a little bit more on how this has happened before. Here's from Reuters. In the minutes before Donald Trump's social media post pausing Liberation Day tariffs, so it's not
just... Oh my God, that's right. Liberation Day tariffs, too.
Venezuela or bombs, but tariffs as well. In the minutes before pausing those tariffs and the U.S. stock market rallied, some unidentified options traders placed bets worth millions of dollars that the market would rebound, data shows. Jake, we heard that Chris Murphy's curious about this, wants more information on it. Who else in Congress?
Well, there's two issues, and everyone has kind of gotten at this. There's the idea that people are placing bets on open markets, right, on financial markets, either long or short bets based on perhaps inside information, perhaps just dumb luck. But the thing that's really popping on the Hill right now is a move against, or a movement against, prediction markets. Polymarket, Kalshi, these markets that make these event-based bets much more possible, because 10 years ago, you would have had to have a brokerage account and know how to bet against certain events. Now, you just need a phone and Kalshi or Polymarket to do so. Now, we should say, and everyone has said this, insider trading is illegal. It's been illegal. But there is a question about whether these markets, these prediction markets, should allow betting of any kind on government actions.
Damn.
And that's a real issue here on the Hill. I mean, it's talked about all the time. Should there even be these bets available? Because there are thousands of people up here who get all sorts of information at all times. Many of them don't even know it's inside information. Now, on something like, is the United States going to bomb an adversary? That's not something that a rank and file staffer would know, but they will know what's said in advance of a congressional hearing. They will know, they might know what the vote count is on a piece of legislation, although that's difficult to discern sometimes. But that's the question. Should these platforms be allowed to have action on government events and on government outcomes? And that's something that Congress has not, like many other things, gotten around to legislating yet, although there is a movement
just so much
to ban that.
All right. I was hoping that they would discuss the nuclear Literally, Polymarket had a bet on if there would be a nuclear detonation in Iran. And everyone saw this. I think this is like from 3 weeks ago, March 4th. Everyone saw this and was like, oh my God, the people that have the insider information, what if they like actually go and try to provoke this nuclear, explosion just so that way they could win money on Polymarket? So, okay, this is from Byron Metzger from Business Insider. Okay, overnight from March 4th, so a while ago. But overnight, Polymarket took down a market that allowed users to trade on where a nuclear weapon would be detonated by March 31st. Okay, so the bet, had it not been taken down, would have still been going on. On March 31st, June 30th, or simply before 2027. Trader who bet yes on any of these timelines would be paid out if there was a nuclear detonation anywhere on Earth, including in an offensive use, a test, or even an accidental detonation. Oh my God, could you imagine, like, you bet that there was going to be a nuclear wherever before 2027, and then as the freaking warheads are flying to New York City, to LA, to Chicago, you win all your money and you're like, yes, I knew it. I knew I was gonna win. Now I have all this money. Now I'm amazing. And it's like, for what, homie? You literally are getting nuclear falled out, and you don't even, for what? I think so. The point of this was like, oh my God, we cannot be allowing people to make bets on this. The market had over 650,000 in total trading volume as of Tuesday, according to an archive snapshot of the site. A message on the web page now reads, "This event has been archived." It is not yet clear why Polymarket took down the site or whether users who put money into the market will get refunds. An earlier version of the market, which covered 2025, resolved without incident last year. A spokesperson for Polymarket did not respond to a request for comment. The suspension came after several users on X expressed outrage about the existence of the market, particularly amid the raft of suspicious trades on platforms in the wake of the killing of Iranian Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei. Oh, look, here's a tweet from Hassan. He says, "This is worse than any dystopia we could have imagined." And it's a screenshot of the Polymarket from David Sciorta. Polymarket has created a market that would be monetizing nuclear attack amid increasingly concerns that bets are happening among government insiders who can make military decisions. Exactly. So, like, this is crazy. This isn't the first time Polymarket came under public scrutiny for hosting markets related to armed conflict. After an anonymous Polymarket trader made over $400,000 on a suspiciously well-timed bet on Venezuela President Nicolas Maduro, blah, 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 we already know that, a lawmaker introduced a bill to ban prediction market insider trading by government officials. Yeah, but we can't even ban government officials from doing regular trading, and we know that they have insider information all the time, yet we don't ban them from doing those trades. It's weird. Sorry for these terrible ads. Oh my God. Oh, I guess that's it. I guess that's the end of the story. It's just ads on ads on ads. Okay. All right, so let's get to the meat and bones. I want to talk about, or I want to read one of the best economists alive at this point, in my opinion, Mr. Paul Krugman, and he wrote this article titled "Treason in the Future Markets." He's not mincing words here. He's straight up calling it treason. So this came out March 24th. What was that, yesterday? No, 2 days ago. People close to Trump are trading based on national secrets. So here's a really, really good picture or diagram of the insider trading that happened, right? So You could just see big spike. I think I don't know if the red is being sold or yeah, I think the red is being sold and the green is being bought. Whatever. Let's read it. Over the weekend, Donald Trump threatened dire vengeance on Iran unless its government opened up the Strait of Hormuz within 48 hours, a deadline that would expire Monday evening in Washington. Specifically, he announced that the U.S. would begin bombing power plants, plants that supply electricity to Iran's civilian population, unless the strait was cleared. But by 7:05 a.m. Monday, Trump called off the whole thing. For 5 days, he said, but many people are assuming that the threatened action, which would have been a massive war crime, is now off the table. All right, so what's the problem here? The president of the United States basically said, we're going to bomb power plants that would heavily affect civilian populations unless you guys reopen the Strait of Hormuz. You have 48 hours. 48 hours later, he backed out, said we're going to pause for 5 days, and then said that bombing the civilians or harming the civilians is now off the table. That's crazy. This is, in my opinion, this is worse than the Taco Trump. You know, Taco Trump always chickens out. He is like not even chickening out anymore. He's just flip-flopping. You know, how are you going to say you're going to, because I think like physically, Donald Trump said, we're going to bomb them until they cry uncle, right? We're going to bomb Iran until they cry uncle. That means, you know, they're tapping out, that we got them so bad that they can no longer deal with what's going on. And they're just like, please, I'm tapping out. I'm done. I give up, you know? But no, Donald Trump said, we're going to do that to you, and then chickened out. And I'm not even saying chickened out because I don't want him to go to war anyways. I don't want any American president to bomb any, you know, civilian country or any country that would affect civilians. You know, I don't want America to bomb anyone unless they bomb us first. But you know, it's like, man. So 7:05 a.m. Monday, Trump called off the whole thing. And so what? This massive amount of trades literally happened 15 minutes before, because this happened at 6:50, right? This massive selling off of oil stocks was done 15 minutes before Trump said that that we were no longer going to hold Iran accountable to the literal 48-hour thing that we gave them, right? The reason for the about face, he claimed, was that the U.S. was engaged in productive negotiations with Iranian officials. Although this seems to have come as news to the Iranians, who denied that any such negotiations are taking place. Sad to say, in this case, as I tried to explain yesterday, the fanatical, brutal Iranian regime is more credible than the President of the United States. Is he lying or living in a fantasy world? ? Neither possibility is comforting, Paul Krugman says. So there you go. Donald Trump is either lying, chickening out, or living in a fantasy world. Either way, it's bad for Americans. It's bad for Iranians. It's bad for the world. But in any case, Trump's sudden climb down was startling. Who could have seen it coming? The answer is the person or people who bought large quantities of stock market futures and sold large quantities of futures around 15 minutes before Trump's announcement. Okay, so yeah, that was just this. Okay, so I was right. The red is being sold. Crazy. Okay, the sharp and isolated jump in volume, which you can see for the oil future markets in the chart at the top of this post, was especially bizarre because there were no major news items, no major publicly available news items to drive such a big market transaction. The story would be baffling, except that there's an obvious explanation. Somebody close to Trump knew what he was about to do and exploited that inside information to make huge, instant profits. Yeah, they sure as heck did. This wasn't the first time something like this has happened under Trump. There were large suspicious moves in the prediction market, poly market before previous attacks in Iran and Venezuela. But this front running of U.S. policy was really large. The Financial Times estimates that the sale of oil futures in that magic minute Monday morning at about $580 million. And that doesn't count the purchase of stock futures. Okay. Crazy. When officers of a company or people close to them exploit confidential information for personal financial gain, that is insider trading, which is illegal. But we have another word for situations in which people with access to confidential information regarding national security, such as plans to bomb or not to bomb another country, exploit that information for profit. That word is treason. Damn, Mr. Krugman. He's just going straight for the jugular. He's like, when people and corporations do insider trading, that's just cheating. When the government does insider trading, that is treason. Damn, that's true. There's no reason why we shouldn't be calling it treason. There's no reason why we shouldn't be calling it treason. Someone is profiting off of America doing, things that are that illegal things. Okay, crazy. Why is profiting from insider information about national security decisions effectively a form of treason? All right, here we go. First, it's hard to think of a more fundamental principle for officials we entrust with important decisions, especially those that involve national security. That they or people they know should not be allowed to exploit their position for personal gain. Second, financial trading based on what should be closely held secrets reveals information to current or potential foreign adversaries. To exaggerate a bit, but only a bit, who needs to bribe agents within the government or recruit them with honey traps when you can infer the same information by keeping track of transactions on future markets? Exactly. So financial trading based on secrets, to exaggerate, but they only bribe within the government or recruit them with honey traps when you can infer the same information. Okay, so it's like saying if people are trading on government secrets, then that's basically giving information away to our quote unquote enemies. Hey, DV8, welcome in. It's good to see you. Hope you are doing well. Happy Thursday. We were talking about oil prices. All right. Finally, there isn't that big of a gap between using knowledge of national secrets to make lucrative financial trades and simply selling those secrets to the highest bidder. Oh my God, yes. Yes, instead of being like, okay, I'm going to do the trading to make money. Hey, you can do the trading. I'll sell you the information I have, and then you can make a lot of money. And I basically don't get caught in it at all because I wasn't doing the illegal thing. Well, you were doing the illegal thing because you were trading with insider information. You just don't, you won't tell anyone that I was the one that gave you the insider information, right? Yeah. So anyways, that's really good. Selling those secrets to the highest bidder. Once you breach that line that says you shouldn't profit personally from access to information that is or should be highly classified, the line between trading based on state secrets and selling those secrets directly is a blurry one. In fact, I'd very much like to know exactly who was making those trades yesterday morning. Were they people directly in the know, or billionaires / traders who paid people for in the know tips? Deviate said, yeah, the whole betting market has ruined everything. Yeah, it's really bad. And I didn't even think about this extra layer that Mr. Paul Krugman brought up by saying, you know, it couldn't even, like, the possibilities are endless. It could be a single person a single person doing insider trading, or it could be someone selling that insider trading information to someone else, and they're making the transactions, which is crazy. I was talking to one of my inside sources on Wall Street yesterday, and they were telling me, because I was like, I asked them, I was like, so how are all the financial bros reacting to this? It's like literally someone in Trump's administration is cheating, right? Like, this has to be the point that the finance bros all lose their mind and turn on Trump because he's cheating in their area. And it seems like I don't even think the finance bros know about this yet. Either that or they're okay with it. It's not affecting them. They think that they can also be a part of this and try to do insider trading on their own, but I don't think it's gonna work. I don't think how much longer until we start literally betting on everyday, like, activities, like, we're not even betting on celebrities or athletes. We're just like, or we're not even betting on politicians. We're just betting on, daily mundane events. And that would be crazy, like betting, okay, the 210 got closed because there was an accident, or there was a 5-car pileup and it happened at this time, like, is that what we're going to get to? That's crazy in my opinion. But, we were betting on if nuclear fallout was going to happen by the end of 2027. We were betting on if Maduro was going to be taken out, whatever that means, taken out by January 31st. That's crazy. Okay. I'm sure we'll find out once Kash Patel's FBI carries out its careful, no-holds-barred investigation. Paul Krugman said, for the humor impaired, that was a joke. However, I do believe that the culprits will be easy to determine once Democrats are back in power, and they must apply the full force of law to the people responsible. Yeah, I don't know if Democrats are capable of doing that. Do you think, chat, here's a question for chat. Do y'all think that if Democrats win the next presidential election, do you think they are going to actually full force prosecute Trump? Or will it be like how it was in 2020 when Joe Biden won the election and Joe Biden was like, okay, it's okay. We want to reunite the country. January 6th just happened. Donald Trump is trying to do this thing. We want to reunite the country. We're just going to collectively move past this. We're going to prosecute all the J6ers, whatever. We're just going to leave Donald Trump alone, or, whatever. There was that time when we kept trying to get he had like boxes of files at Mar-a-Lago and he wasn't returning them, so there was like a lot of stuff. Like, Joe Biden should have went full force hard on Donald Trump in 2020, but because there was just so much going on, the pandemic included, like the pandemic was going bad, the economy was crashing, January 6th happened. We didn't know whether to trust our neighbors or not. 2020 was a bad time. But I think it was a mistake in just being like, okay, America made its decision. We decided that Donald Trump was a one-term president. We're done with him. Let's get back to some normalcy. Let's get back to, Joe Biden had the Build Back Better bill, and things were looking good. And then freaking 2024 came and Donald Trump won again. And now he was like, yep, I am not going to make that mistake again. I'm not going to, I'm not going to just peacefully step down when my time is up. I mean, who knows? Who knows? He's been saying a lot. He's going to run for a third term, that we won't ever have to vote again. So he's just implying that he's going to be an authoritarian president, but man, there's just so much wrong. And I applaud Paul Krugman's, hope for Democrats to, apply the full force of law to the people responsible. But I really, really fear them being like, okay, Donald Trump is done. He can never run for president again. Whichever let's say Gavin Newsom, we have President Gavin Newsom in 2028. And, Donald Trump can never be president ever again. We're done. We're just going to cut our losses. We don't need to prosecute him or anything. We're just going to let it be. I would totally expect the Democrats to do that. That's just their MO. That's always been their MO. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. And then, in like 3 years, we'll have another stream and be like, oh my God, wow, Donald Trump was doing insider trading. Donald Trump Jr. was the one making all those bets. And are we going to prosecute them? I don't know. Let's just let bygones be bygones. Yeah, so Deviate said it's a concern for sure, but I don't know. I really don't know what the answer is. But this is putting too much faith in the Democrats when they get back in power, if they get back in power. One question that may be harder to resolve is the extent to which the possibility of insider trading may actually have influenced policy. Are the decisions about war and peace in part serving the cause of market manipulation rather than the national interest? If you dismiss this as unthinkable, you just haven't been paying attention. So yeah, Paul Krugman is basically saying that one of the reasons why we could be having all these crazy war things, attacking Venezuelan quote unquote drug boats, attacking Iran, are we doing that because it's for our nation's interest? Or are we doing that because people could have the opportunity to make money off of manipulating these events? Deviate. Damn, Paul said you ain't woke. No, I know. Yeah. Okay. There's a broad lesson here. You can't trust a corrupt government to protect national security. Yeah, that's true. The corrupt government is only going to protect one thing, and that's their own asses, because they know they're doing corruption and their time is limited. And our government is now utterly corrupt. It's hard to find a single senior official from the president on down who treats public office as a grave responsibility rather than an opportunity for personal self-aggrandizement and profit. Yeah. I mean, come on. We have Marco Rubio in there just, snorting cocaine or whatever he's got, putting things into the side of his mouth. Marco Rubio is just there for the cocaine and the power. Maybe he's there for Cuba too. He wants to be the king of Cuba. But, I've only seen Marco Rubio there for his own selfish interest. Okay. Among other things, deeply corrupt governments tend to be very bad at waging war, no matter how much they may exalt warrior ethos and lethality. When we do a post-mortem on how the Iran debacle happened arrogant ignorance may still get the top billing, but grotesque venality will come a close second. Hold on, I need to look up what venality means. We're learning together. Venality, the quality of being open to bribery, corruption, or motivated by money, where principles and positions are sold for personal gain. Venality is a historical practice where men pay to be placed in positions of wealth and prestige. Okay, that pretty much says it all. Okay, so Paul Krugman is saying arrogant ignorance is the top reason why we went to war with Iran, but a close second will be people's self-enrichment. And then, oh my God, what a boomer. He linked, like it's his MySpace page, he linked Peter Gabriel, that tells you exactly how old this man is, the song Secret World at the end of his little article. How cute. How cute. Yes, DV8 said, honestly, not enough people are mad. Yesterday, DV8, I was at school and there was these anti-abortion protesters. And oh my God, I went up to each of them and was like, okay, you guys clearly care about, you know, people getting affected by things, right? How much, I went up to them, I was like, how much is how much is the price of gas right now? And I kid you not, each person was like, I don't know, it's expensive. And I was like, do you think it's going to get more expensive or less expensive? I don't know, probably more expensive. Okay, so what price? What price is it going to be a big concern for you? Because, homie, we're already at $5 a gallon. You know, if people in chat leave the price of gas in your area. I literally paid probably about a couple days ago, like $5 and like 30 cents. DV8 said you went up to them like a kid saying, got any games on your phone? Yes, exactly. And then we went into full on yelling match in the middle of campus because, you know, I got rage baited by these losers. But yeah, it's like nobody knows. And I feel like we're like frogs, you know, frogs in the pot of boiling water. And we're just like, okay, the water is getting hotter. The price of gas is getting higher. And, oh, this is fine. This is fine. We'll just have to wait it out. We just have to wait it out. And the price of gas will go down. Or you know what? Even better, I'll just buy an electric car and I won't have to pay for gas at all. And then meanwhile, gas prices keeps affecting food price, keeps affecting, you know, retail goods. And it's just like, okay, I'm okay. I don't have to worry about this because I drive an electric car. Oh, man. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Paul Krugman. This was a great article. I'm going to just, here, let's zoom in on this so that way it could be the thumbnail for a little bit. But yeah, I really don't know what's going to happen with gas prices. They are just going to keep going up. They're just going to keep going up. What the heck? Beyond 3139 said, I get mad about gas. Then I realize peeps in Australia pay like $3 per liter. Is that a lot or a little? Because how many liters are in a gallon? I'm sorry, I really don't know. You know, let's look up gas prices across the US. Is there like any polymarket betting on gas prices? Cause here we go, Gas Buddy. This old ass app I used to do. Close to $4. Yeah, that's bad. Oh man. Oh man. Look at the data that Gas Buddy has. Oh, the yellow, it's greater than $5.16. That's crazy. Oh my God. What is orange? Oh, that's like $4. Man, yes, look at the colors. This is for all the data nerds in chat. Oh my God. It's like, why is California and Washington so expensive? But then, like, is there any blue? I guess somewhere in Oklahoma, we have under $2.70 a gallon. Also in Kansas, there's under $2.70 a gallon. Wow. Let's see if we could like zoom in a little bit more and get some more detailed information. No, it's just by state. They just marked the entirety of California. Oh no, there's one spot in California where gas is still between $4.85 and $5.16, and that is northern Sacramento. Exactly, Deviate. Where is the $1 gallon that Trump was talking about, that he always brags about? There is, like, literally the map. It doesn't go. The lowest amount is not even $1. The lowest amount is $2. I would love to see like Mexico and stuff. But yeah, it seems like the cheapest prices of gas are in Oklahoma and Kansas. And they are between, $2.70 and what? This purple is $3. Man. Oh, we can change country? Canada has a heat map? Let's see Canada's gas prices. Oh no. Oh, they're pretty bad off too. Their West Coast is also high. Interesting. Wow. They have some cheaper areas. Wow. Okay. Cool. So just between Canada and the US. Wow. That's really good. Here, I'm going to link this into chat for anyone who wants to look at it, because that is really cool. All right. Here, let's see. This is from Fox.
One of those stories, you see it when you are out and about. It's that pain at the pump. It seems like every time you look at the gas station, those prices continue to creep
this is from Fox in Illinois. Interesting. Their all-time average is $5. All-time high is $5, and their average is $4. National average is $3.98.
Just a little bit higher. With the war in Iran disrupting global oil supplies, the average price for gas here at home is now hovering right around $4 a gallon. And now it's forcing families to make tough financial decisions, and in some cases, looking for help just to get around here. So for more on this, let's go out to Chicago. That is where we find Fox News' Oliviana Calmes joining us here with a breakdown.
What a name, Oliviana.
Good evening, Mike. Well, we've been hearing about this, but now it's really compounding for families across the nation. It's not just what people are paying at the pump, it's also what they're having to give up in order to cover it. Gas prices now sitting at just under $4 a gallon.
Beyond 3139 said we pay gas tax in California. The gas tax is approximately 90 cents per gallon, so I doubt ever seeing $1 gas. Exactly.
Most people
exactly. The gas tax I feel conflicted on. I get where it's coming from, but ultimately it's still a tax that I have to pay for that I don't know if is really helping me or not. But Deviate said almost like we need more trains to save money, and I don't know how much that would help. Yeah, there was we need trains. We need trains. We need trains. Beyond said that's like including federal too. It's like 60 cents for states. Okay, yeah. So we won't ever see $1 whatever per gallon, but I would at least, I think $3 is a good medium right now. I could afford $3. I could afford $4. I'm paying $5, but like that's a lot, So
Or per household this year if prices were to stay high. One ministry in Northwest Indiana tells me they're seeing the impact play out in real time there.
You take a single mother who's trying to provide for her kids. I mean, you have the cost of food has gone up. You have the cost of childcare has gone up. They're having to go to work, and now instead of spending $25 or $30 a week to just get back and forth to work and take care of their errands, they're spending upwards of $60 a week. That was unbudgeted for. It's unsaved for.
Yup. If people are even budgeting at this point.
Yeah, I really like this. To help meet that need, that group is distributing gas cards, trying to give people just enough to keep moving, literally. And with that demand likely to go up during the summer driving season, prices could stay high in the months ahead. Because I don't know about you, road trip season is in the summer.
Yeah.
Means more driving, but I guess many people may be pulling back this summer. I will tell you, according to Gas Buddy, the best time to fill up for the best price is supposedly Sunday. You can save about 49 cents.
Sunday is, do you hear that? Gas Buddy, who gave us that amazingly colorful graph, said the best day, the cheapest day to fill up gas is Sunday. Why?
If you time it just right, Mike.
Yeah, Olivia, and I think the worry here is when you see the gas prices continue to go up, there's almost this domino effect that happens with other industries. What are you seeing with that sort of domino effect really playing out in real time?
Yeah, Mike, we're seeing that in a lot of different industries. In fact, today, the U.S. Postal Service announced that they're going to be adding a temporary surcharge to some shipping services. That cost will vary based on transportation expenses. So, you know, that's an industry that you have to rely on fuel for. So we're going to see this continue to affect a lot of different areas of our day-to-day life.
Yeah. Terrible, terrible. We are never getting lower prices. Oh, okay. This is lines in Asia and South America. Because we're not the only ones suffering with gas prices. All these other countries are too. Dang, and they just
Everyone
need to
is
fill up
saying
their
petrol is
little
available, but people are
mopeds.
panicking. And that's why even I have come here to refill my tank, because my daughter-in-law is pregnant, and I would need reserves. That's why I've been standing in the queue since morning.
That's crazy. Oh my God. They're filling
This
up
is
big
hitting us very
containers.
hard. We depend on fuel,
This is
and
in
we are going to
Chile.
do our best to make sure this price hike does not get passed on to the parents, because things are already tough enough as it is.
Wow. Yep. Oh, and Sri Lanka, they're saying 30 liters per customer only. Deviate said, I feel like there will be lines here soon. I know. I mean, okay, so I don't know. I'm personally not old enough to remember the lines in the 70s. I was not born in the 60s or 70s, but apparently those lines were really long. Hold on, let's see. 70s oil shortage. Here you go. Let's see. 1979.
Funding for this program has been provided by this station and other public television stations,
Exxon
and by grants from
corporations.
Exxon Corporation, Allied Chemical Corporation, and the Corporation for...
Are growing as more and more Americans cope with gasoline lines and empty pumps.
1979. Oh my God, what is this editing? Wow, man, 79, what a year. Okay, we're gonna fast forward a little bit. The McNeil-Lauer report, I
For
think that's
millions
what it
of
said.
Americans, this may be the worst weekend they've ever faced for finding gasoline
Petrol
to give them
edit,
the automobile
yes.
freedom they take as their due. Gasoline shortages are spreading across the country. Odd even service, gasoline lines, and closed gas stations are becoming increasingly common. And the news from overseas tonight gives no promise of quick relief. President Carter and other Western leaders agreed in Tokyo to limit oil imports to try to reduce dependence on OPEC, the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries.
Wow.
In Geneva yesterday, OPEC slapped another large increase on crude oil prices, an increase the Tokyo summit leaders deplored. In response, President Carter pledged the United States to limit oil imports to 8.5 million barrels a day until 1985. So far this year, imports have been running at 8.2 million barrels a day. So with little hope...
Oh, so was President Carter like limiting how much we imported, and that's why there was big shortage? That's crazy. That makes sense. So President Carter was like, we're not going to buy as much oil as we were buying, I guess, and buying just a little bit, and that's what causes shortages? Man, that's crazy.
Hope of greatly increased supplies and much higher prices for what supplies there are, pressure is building again in Washington for a new look at gas rationing. There are reports that President Carter will urge Congress to reconsider the rationing plan they rejected this spring. Tonight, is gas rationing the answer? But first, for those of you who've been spared the experience so far, we want to share the emotions Americans are feeling on the gas lines.
Oh my God,
Late
those
last
lines.
week, independent producer Phil Garvin spent a day on a line at a service station in Queens, New York. And this is what happened.
Queens.
As has become common in many states in the East, cars have been lining up before dawn. By the time the
Before
pumps
dawn?
opened, many had been waiting 2 and 3 hours for gas.
Wow.
I've been here since 4:30 this morning. It's ridiculous waiting online here. I couldn't get gas Tuesday.
Bruh, yes, bruh. She said she'd been here since 4:30 in the morning waiting for gas.
Block was about, the line was about 8 blocks long. It was ridiculous.
The line was 8 blocks long.
I can't take it anymore. I've been carpooling. It's my turn to get gas, and thank God I'm able to get gas today. I don't care how much it costs. I just got to get gas. I got to get to work.
Damn, Justin,
People are
she
very
said she got to
desperate.
get to
They depend
work.
an awful lot upon their cars, and it seems to be no limit to how far they'll go to keep driving that car.
I thought my husband would be able to get gas. He came here at 20 after 5, and he called me at 6 that I should come out and take over because he's got to go to work. And that's what I did. And I'm here with the cars here since 20 after 5. I just can't believe.
Where's your husband?
She's waiting.
He's in the synagogue praying.
Oh my God.
I'm here since 5 in the morning. I spend every day 3 hours on the line.
Of
I am
course,
always
taxi driver. I would imagine taxi drivers were super affected by
nervous
this.
about gas. I can't concentrate on my work. I always have to look at my gas gauge and find out where I can get gas. I went out this morning. We had a lot of work on the radio. People that called for cabs. I couldn't answer the calls. My tank is almost empty. Financially, it absolutely got to a point where it's just impossible to make a living.
My patience is wearing very thin because everybody comes in, all they want to talk about is gasoline. When are you getting a delivery? When can...
He's one of the gas station workers. Now they're interviewing one of them. Hilarious.
I get the gasoline? Can I leave the car overnight?
My daughter wanted to come here, so she found out there's a gas station open on Main Street, pumping gas at 4 o'clock. So she got online. She was number 33 online.
Okay.
And it was all a hoax.
It was
Some
a
guy
hoax?
got in trouble with the car, and he pushed it over to the gas station, and people thought that there's a line waiting for gas.
Wow.
And it was nothing. So they waited 3 hours,
for nothing.
and there was no gas.
Wow.
Then I had to come over there and help him push the car away. Life is dull because simple. You can't
This
go
is
where
what
you
our
want to
future
go.
looks
If I want to
like.
go to a show downtown, I can afford it now with the gasoline. It's not a matter of spending money. It's a matter of not getting what you want.
We are only receiving 80% of last year's allocation. We have to limit it to 1,500 per day in order to get through the month. After 2 hours of pumping, that 1,500 gallons is gone. At that time, there is no sense keeping the pumps open because there's nothing left to sell.
It wasn't as bad in World War II when you had to have a stamp to get gas. Why wasn't it as bad as this? Well, you could get, if you had a ration stamp, you could get the gas.
We don't learn. We really don't learn. I want to know how many people were alive experiencing this, like adults that remember this, that are still driving on the roads today. I bet it's like a small it's probably got to be like 15% of people that are still driving on the roads that remember this. Man, This is bad. So like I thought it was just like, oh, okay, we're gonna ration gasoline. Those of you whose license plate ends in an odd number, you come on these days. Those of you whose license plate ends on an even number, y'all come on these days. No, this was actually really bad. This is in Queens, New York. And you had people waiting hours in line, waking up the butt early, the crack of dawn, to get gas. So for what? So that way they could get to work.
The line is very long, but the most we can go maybe is another 20, 30 minutes. We have a truck in the back of the line now, but I don't know if it'll be in enough time to get all these people served with gasoline.
Wow.
Isn't somebody going to be pretty mad? What would you think if you were the back of the line and you couldn't get gas after you waited?
I'd be unhappy.
Yeah.
There ain't nothing he can do about it. If he ain't got gas in the tank, he can't pump it.
I came in, I figured maybe I'd get gas. I'm very low. But I got an even number, he wouldn't give me.
Are you a regular customer?
Sure I am. He says come back tomorrow when there's odd when there's even numbers. Okay, I got just enough. If I just about make it till tomorrow. I got a little less than a half a tank, and I got to go out to Glendale, Brooklyn, New York, and this is business. This is not pleasure. But I'll manage, guaranteed.
He said, this is business, not pleasure, but I'll manage, I guarantee it. That's the New Yorker way. Oh, this is great.
We're all out of high test and regular gas.
And this is back when they still had people to pump your gas for you.
So we won't have enough gas to forget it. We'll have to cut the line short.
Now, after waiting 2 hours, and we're not sure if I can make it. Well, if there's any gas left.
Yeah. There's probably not going to... Wow, those airplanes were loud back then.
To enforce this thing, it's such a hardship as it is on a dealer. You expect us to be a policeman and a judge and a rationer and God knows what else. How the heck can we all do all this work?
I don't get regular gas. I wonder how much corruption there was in people just selling gas at a higher price, selling gas on the black market, selling gas illegally. Man, this is what we're waiting for again. We're gonna end up like this.
Unleaded. I should be satisfied with that. Check my oil, see if it's all right on the big trip I'm going. I'm sorry, we don't have time. That's pretty good, isn't it?
Oh,
should I be
mad.
angry? I am.
People ought to just take their cars, put them in their garages, and let them sit there. Let the stations, the owners, the oil companies choke on their gas.
Yeah, but we need our cars.
I'm not doing it because nobody else is. What am I going to do? Sit home all by myself and...
Exactly.
If everybody do it, that would be a great idea. Everyone is uptight. The customers are uptight.
She's mad.
The dealers, the employees.
I feel the same
it's
too.
A difficult situation, and it's getting worse.
Yeah.
There are many arguments. People feel that there's no credibility, that we're lying to them, that we do have the gas, but we're not selling it, which is not true, because if we had it, we'd say we only 2 glasses.
Yeah, you would want to sell it.
This is unreal. Isn't this disgusting?
Here's some
Why
more
doesn't anybody contact the president? Why is he letting this happen to us?
To sum up in the word of one irate motorist, the first day of the odd-even system was a disaster. Gas lines at many stations were a lot longer than normal.
Line today is longer than it's ever been.
Wow.
I have no explanation for it.
This gas line at one station on the Upper West Side ran from 96th Street and West End Avenue all the way up to 102nd Street.
Oh my
As
God,
might be
that's like
expected,
4
the longer
blocks,
the line
6
and waiting
blocks.
time, the angrier some motorists became.
I think it's terrible. I really think it's terrible. I'm in here for an hour already.
There's no shortage. I don't believe there's a shortage.
The odd-even system can't do anything about the problem of no gas. Some of the people online...
But there was a shortage. If President Carter was making a shortage to try to, quote-unquote, not rely on the oil or the OPEC producing countries anymore, then that was making a shortage. Wow.
And here have been in other lines and still don't have a tank of gas.
This is the second gas line this morning.
The reporter is amazing.
They ran out.
I've been in 2 gas lines already.
This morning?
This morning.
How long did you wait for the first one?
I've been in both lines over an hour. And I'm out of gas.
Oh.
Dead out.
Most service station operators were not following the new regulations to the letter. Drivers with more than a half a tank of gas should have been turned away, but no one was checking.
I don't intend doing this. Too risky.
This morning we're a little short on help, so we are not checking gauges. But from what the purchases have been, there really is no need because they're all getting large sales.
What are we trying to do?
Well, my son is trying to see how much gas we have left in the tank.
Oh, my God.
And whether we can make it out on the Sawmill River Parkway. So he stuck his walkie-talkie antenna in the tank, which I do not see we're going to get out.
Well, all you motorists with odd number plates, tomorrow, it's your turn. I'm Frank Casey, Action News.
Hey, Frank Casey. Frank Casey from Action News. Nice. PIX 11 News. That's pretty cool. Yeah, 1979, odd even gas rationing. I don't even think we'll get to rationing. We're just, the price is going to keep going up, and that's what's going to prevent people from, oh, here, let's see.
Officials say those long
Houston.
gasoline lines will probably be with us for the rest of the summer, and the price at the pumps will keep on getting higher. Exxon President Randall Meyer says Governor Clement's odd-even gas rationing program will help shorten the length of the gas lines, but won't eliminate them this summer.
I
Meyer
see.
says about 90% of Exxon's company-operated stations in the Houston area are now open on Saturday. About half of them are open on Sunday, with stations operating in every sector of the city at least some part of the weekend. Meyer says
Dang,
Exxon is trying to
were
lessen
gas
the
stations not
inconvenience to the
open on the
motorist.
weekend back then? Like they were like banks?
A lack of crude oil.
I don't imagine that there will be anything happen in the worldwide supply situation that could markedly improve the gasoline picture over the rest of the summer. So I think we're faced with living with about this level of gasoline supply. Our gasoline supplies will continue to run somewhere between 96 and 98% of the same month a year ago.
Wow.
And I suppose the industry is, and the rest of the industry is in about the same kind of shape.
Meyer says as a result of the OPEC increase in oil prices, motorists will have to get used to using less fuel and paying more for it. He says there won't be any permanent improvement in the energy situation until this country develops some new sources of energy. For the next 10 years or so, Meyer says Americans will simply have to learn to live with a tight energy situation.
Wow.
Well, there are some people who just don't want to sit still and live with the situation as it is, and they are going to talk about the problem.
Okay.
A 19-year-old has organized an energy talk session for tonight in Houston.
Heck yeah, 19
the gas
years
lines
old.
are getting a little shorter. Or perhaps they're getting a little
that
longer.
him?
No one is really sure, and if you're sitting in one of
Nah,
these
he's already
lines,
balding.
you may not care. But 19-year-old
Okay,
Jim
here he
Lowe
goes.
thinks people should care, and
What
that
a
they will care
Chad.
enough to take some action on their own. The assistant drugstore manager and college student has taken it upon himself to set up a public session to talk about the gas shortage. The session tonight at 7 at San Jacinto Junior College will feature public
This
officials
is-
and all interested.
This is not a child. This is your bum uncle that smokes cigarettes every time he comes over to your house, and you're like, please stop smoking cigarettes.
Citizens.
This
Oh
one
my
meeting
God, look at
is
this
not
guy.
going to accomplish and it's not going to solve the energy problem.
Well, why have it?
Well, we want to have it because we want it to be a beginning.
Lowe has been working around the drugstore, keeping up with his normal workload and trying to organize the gas shortage session. He's been on the phone with citizens and government leaders. Already, Congressman Bob Eckert, state representatives, and someone from the Department of Energy have agreed to attend the session.
Amazing.
We stopped at a gas station near the site of the public hearing and got varied reactions on what might be or might not be accomplished at the session.
I think it should help out. I think people need to get their views together and see what would need to be done in this situation.
People talk, but they ain't doing nothing. You know, it's the same old thing every day. You know.
So you don't think talking's going to do it tonight?
I don't think so, sir.
So what?
Again,
what's
the
going to
session
do
is
it?
at 7 tonight at San Jacinto Junior College at the intersection of Uvalde and Wallaceville Road.
Oh man,
David Glott,
Uvalde, Texas. Damn.
Witness News.
Well, with all the heat and long lines.
That's crazy. Houston, ABC 13 Houston. Thank you. That was good. Oh man. That's pretty cool. I mean, it's awful. Someone in the comments said, "Wow, Houstonians weren't fat back then." Damn, are people in Houston fat now? Jeez. Okay. All right. Let's move on to the next thing because we're running out of time. But thank you, Paul Krugman. We're done with oil prices, I think. All right. Now let's get into AI, which I think will be super interesting. First up, let's recap with our favorite AI local IE politician, Representative Jay Obernolte, who was kind enough to post on his own YouTube channel his Fox News interview from 3 days ago. Here we go.
White House today rolling out recommendations for regulating artificial intelligence. FBN's Madison Allworth joins us now with the details. Hi, Madison.
Hi, John. The White House released a national AI framework today, laying out a roadmap for Congress to create one uniform national standard instead of a patchwork of state laws. There are 7 key priorities in this framework. The White House is calling for legislation that would give parents robust tools to control kids' AI access, like privacy settings, screen time limits, and age assurance, while building on successes like the Take It Down Act. On the economic side, it wants to supercharge American growth. Small businesses would get new grants and tax incentives to adopt AI. It also calls for regulatory sandboxes so companies can test new tools safely, and makes federal data sets AI ready and accessible for training. The White House wants Congress to act fast. Representative Jay Obernolte, former AI task force chair, says it's about time.
The president has issued this as a call to action and made it clear that he would like to see this on his desk this year. And as you know, this is what we have been pushing for the last 18 months, to try and instill a sense of urgency in the Congress that this has to be done soon.
Why? Representative Obernolte told Fox Business he plans to introduce the Great American AI Act in the coming days, codifying this blueprint. House Republicans are ready to act. Speaker Johnson releasing a joint statement saying, quote, House Republicans look forward to working across the aisle to enact a national framework that unleashes the full potential of AI, cements the U.S. as the global leader, and provides important protections for American families. Now, this framework does not automatically invalidate any state laws, but it does put certain ones in jeopardy. Colorado and California have passed some of the more aggressive AI laws, and there are laws in Texas, Utah, Illinois, and New York that could also be impacted if this blueprint turns into the rule book. John?
All right, well, we will see if the feds lead the way in this. Madison, thank you so much.
Damn, they didn't really do any good reporting on that. Okay, let's switch over to the Bernie Sanders and AOC.
Congresswoman and
they're proposing legislation to counter this, or to just like at least it's a moratorium on the construction of new AI data centers. I'm gonna let this play. Yes, look at Bernie. Look at what we could have had. But maybe we'll have AOC, I'm not sure, in the future. Okay, I'm gonna let this play. I'm gonna go run to the restroom real quick.
We're gonna be chatting about an enormously important issue. Let me start off by saying that in my view, and in the view of people who know a lot more about this issue than I do, we are at the beginning of the most profound technological revolution in world history, period. The most profound technological revolution in world history, a revolution that will bring unimaginable changes to our society in a relatively short period of time. Artificial intelligence and robotics will impact our economy, our democracy, our privacy rights, our emotional well-being, our environment, and even our very survival as human beings on this planet. The scale, scope, and speed of this transformation will be unprecedented. According to Demis Hassabis, who is the head of Google DeepMind, the AI revolution will be 10 times bigger than the Industrial Revolution and 10 times faster. In other words, AI and robotics will have 100 times impact in terms of what the Industrial Revolution did. And it's not just what AI companies are saying, it's what they are doing. This year alone, 4 major AI companies are expected to spend roughly $670 billion building data centers and tens of billions more on research and development. Despite the extraordinary importance of this issue and its impact on every man, woman, and child in this country, AI has received far too little serious discussion here in our nation's capital. I fear that Congress is totally unprepared for the magnitude of the changes that are already taking place. While Congress has not paid attention or enough attention to this issue. The American people have. According to a recent poll, 79% of voters are concerned that the government does not have a plan to protect workers from AI job losses. That same poll also found that 56% of voters, majority of voters, are concerned about losing their job or having someone in their family lose their jobs in the next year. Not in the next 10 years, in the next year. Why are the American people so concerned? And the answer is they have a lot of reasons to be concerned. They understand that at a time of massive income and wealth inequality, when the billionaire class has never, ever had it so good, some 60% of our people are living paycheck to paycheck.
Yep.
And the American people understand that the AI revolution, these massive investments,
yes,
are being driven by some of the wealthiest people in our country and the world, people like Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, Mark Zuckerberg, and Larry Ellison. They understand that these billionaires are investing huge amounts of money into AI and robotics, not to improve life for working families, but to dramatically increase their own wealth and power.
Amen.
You think the average American is sitting around trusting that the multi-billionaires are going to transform society for the good of ordinary people? I don't think so. In terms of the impact that AI and robotics will have on working people, let us listen to what the tech oligarchs themselves are saying. Not the Congresswoman, not me. Let's hear what the tech oligarchs are themselves saying. Elon Musk, who has made massive investments in AI and robotics, has stated, and I quote, AI and robots will replace all jobs.
Wow. All of them.
That's about it. Replace all jobs. Bill Gates, another massive, who's also made massive investments, has said humans, quote, won't be needed
Beyond
for most
3139
things,
said, have you watched
and
this interview with Claude, the AI agent? Yes, it's so creepy. It's so creepy. We'll watch a clip of it after this.
Could be automated.
Or, I mean, let me pause this. Let's watch a clip of that, because the freaking Claude is like, yes, Senator Sanders, everything is horrible. There we go. Okay, just get on with
Claude,
it.
This is Senator Bernie Sanders. I have been taking a hard look at how AI impacts American society in terms of economics and job loss, in terms of the mental health of our kids, in terms of what it will do to the political process. What I want to talk to you about is another issue, and that is the impact of AI on privacy. I want to know, among other things, just how much of the information that AI collects is being used, and what would surprise the American people in terms of knowing how that information is collected.
Yeah, that's the thing that would probably shock most Americans. Companies are collecting data from everywhere. Your browsing history, your location, what you buy, what you search for, even how long you pause on a web page. Then they're feeding all of that into AI systems that create incredibly detailed profiles about you. What would surprise people is how little they actually consented to and how little they understand about it. Most people click agree on terms of service without reading them, and they have no idea that their data is being combined with thousands of other data points to build a picture of who they are. And then that AI uses those profiles to decide what ads you see, what prices you're shown, even what information gets prioritized in your social media feed. It's all happening in the background, invisible and largely unregulated.
I mean, I think most Americans would know the answer to this, but why is all of this information being collected? What's the goal here?
Here's the big bomb it drops.
Money, Senator. It's fundamentally about profit. Companies collect all.
It's just, it's like Bernie's like, all right, Claude, tell me what all the data is being collected for, and then Claude is like, It's simple. It's all about the money.
All this data because AI allows them to turn it into valuable insights.
Yup.
They can predict what you'll buy, target you with ads that are more likely to work, charge different prices to different people based on what they know about you. Advertisers pay premium prices for access to these detailed profiles because they're incredibly effective at manipulating consumer behavior.
Yup.
And it's not just about selling you stuff either. Political campaigns use the same AI and data to figure out how to persuade you, which messages will work on you specifically. Data brokers buy and sell information about millions of Americans without their knowledge. The bottom line is that your attention, your behavior, your choices, all of that has become a commodity to be bought and sold.
Yep.
Claude, you mentioned
we thought having, just scrolling on Facebook and stuff way back then when people still used Facebook, and by people I mean young people like myself, when people still used Facebook, we were so worried, oh my God, Facebook's going to have all this information that I put in to my own profile, just filling out my own biography, I guess, on my Facebook page. The Facebook is going to use that information to serve me hyper targeted ads, right? That's what we were worried about back then, was us voluntarily giving this information up. Obviously me going, oh, my favorite book is blah, blah, blah. My favorite movie is The Matrix. My favorite, all those little things on the biography. We thought that was the worst of it. Nah, AI is so bad. DV8 said AI and Roblox. I would not be surprised if they just put AI in the Roblox, Beyond 3139 said Claude for real is about to drop the T. Yeah, that was when it was like, it's money, Senator, as in a very the 2001 Space Odyssey, that robot sounds so creepy. Hal. Beyond 3139 said using AI for dynamic pricing is going to get every penny out of us, 100%, because now companies or retailers don't have to price things based on what the average consumer will buy it on, or they won't have to price things based on how much they actually spent to develop that product. They're just going to be like, okay, this person, I don't even know if they would be if the AI would be like, okay, they spend this and this and this much amount of money. We know that they work this type of job, and we're going to charge them this price for this service or for whatever. I think they were doing the dynamic pricing with online shopping, right? And it's just you're going to get nickeled and dimed just because the company thinks they can nickel and dime you. And that's absolutely crazy. One of the things in America about sales is not being able to jack up the prices during hard times or whatever, right? This scalping, or during the pandemic, people were trying to hoard all the toilet paper and then resell it for an exorbitant amount of money, right? They were trying to make money off of this tragic situation that nobody had control over, right? These opportunists. Well, now imagine that being added into every single aspect of your life. That's awful. This is very dystopian. Okay, let's go back to this.
In the next decade. What we are talking about, therefore, is the possibility that AI and automation could displace tens of millions of workers in the United States from their current employment. We're already seeing early signs of this transformation, with declining employment in AI, exposed occupations, and growing difficulty for young people entering the workforce. If machines can perform most economically valuable work better than humans, and that is the goal.
Yeah.
That machines will be able to do the job you are doing better than you are doing. If that happens, pretty simple question. What happens to the workers?
Yep.
How do people earn a living? How do they support their families? And how do programs like Social Security and Medicare survive without a stable tax base? People are not working, they're not paying taxes. And let me ask a very simple question. that is on the minds of millions of Americans. How will workers who lose their jobs find new employment if there are no jobs available?
Like, this is going to be worse than all the manufacturing going overseas, all the offshoring, because those Americans that used to be able to do manufacturing jobs lost their jobs completely because they were not able to translate it into another job or skill. You know, you spent 20 years doing specific die press for, you know, like sheet metal and stuff, like for cars. You're not going to be able to take that skill and then turn it into another manufacturing thing or completely move to another completely job, which is what a lot of people had to do. And that's why I'm reading this book about trade union politics, because, oh my God, we lost.
With China, it is going to create millions and millions of good-paying jobs. Man, Democrats, Republicans, corporate executives, everybody came together. Free trade, going to be the best thing that ever happened to American workers. Well, not quite.
Yeah, it was not.
What happened, in fact, is that thousands and thousands of factories in this country were shut down. And what happened is that millions of workers lost their jobs. So we have seen this play out in the past.
Damn, Bernie's looking real
but
old.
When we talk about AI and robotics, we're not just talking about the economy. AI is already reshaping how we as human beings relate to each other.
Oh my God, when is the AI bubble going to burst?
According to a recent poll by Common Sense Media, 72% of American teenagers say they have used AI for companionship. And more than half do so
72%
regularly.
of American teenagers. And what did we start watching at the beginning of the broadcast? That lady that was like, Meta made my child addicted to social media, and she won her case. And so, like, what are we going to do now? We're just going to up that addiction going from social media to AI. That's like the ultimate form of socializing, I guess, because you're just literally talking to someone else. They're talking to something that makes you think you're talking to another person. Could you imagine teenagers getting addicted to AI companions? Jeez, that would be horrible.
What does it mean for young people to form friendships with AI and become more and more lonely and isolated from other human beings? Everybody understands we have a major mental health crisis for our young people right now.
Yes.
I fear that AI could make it even worse.
Yes.
And then when we talk about what's going on, we also have to talk about privacy. Larry Ellison, second richest person on earth, who's gobbling up a lot of the media in this country, who is a major investor in AI, predicts an AI-powered surveillance state is coming where, this is Larry Ellison, major investor, this is what he says.
Yeah.
Where citizens will be on their best behavior because we're constantly recording and reporting everything that is going on, end quote.
And this is, but I thought we hated the China surveillance state, right? The China social credit system. I thought we agreed that that was a bad thing. And now we have Larry Ellison, American capitalist. Well, I don't know if he's American or not. Capitalist saying, yes, we were going to have well-behaving citizens and employees because we will have eyes on them 24/7. Or not we, but eyes will be on them 24/7. Crazy.
That's your phone calls, your texts, your emails, the websites that you visit. It will be recorded if we continue the current trends. Further, AI is undermining American democracy.
Yep.
The rise of deep fakes, where you have very convincing fake images. It happened to me. I don't know if it happened to you. All right. Where they had me selling some rebates or something.
Why would Bernie turn to AOC, a woman, and say, have you ever been deep faked before? Yes, she has. It's terrible, I'm sure. Tucker Carlson is watching it.
Like that. It looked very good. Almost convinced me, but it wasn't me. We're seeing fake videos, fake audios. What happens when a day before the election, somebody who looks like the candidate gets up and says something outrageous and people believe it?
And people believe it.
If people cannot trust what they see and hear, informed decision-making becomes nearly impossible. It will become harder and harder to distinguish between truth and untruth. There's also, in what we're seeing now, a significant environmental cost. AI requires enormous computing power, driving the expansion of energy and water-intensive data centers, increasing electricity demand,
massive amount
and
of
potentially
water.
deepening reliance on fossil fuels in the midst of a climate crisis. Finally, and let me say this, and I know some people out there may still think this is science fiction. but
It's
it ain't.
not.
I have
It's
talked to
not.
some of the leading scientists and most knowledgeable people in the world about the potential existential threats that AI brings to the human race, including Geoffrey Hinton. Some of you may know that Dr. Hinton, who was a Nobel Prize winner in physics, he's considered to be the godfather of AI. He's worked on this thing for decades.
Mhm.
They have cautioned us that AI could soon surpass human intelligence and operate independently beyond our control.
Yep.
And if that happens, what they acknowledge is it poses a profound threat to the very survival of the human race. So, what is happening in Washington right now in response to all of these enormous concerns? Well, we learned just today that Donald Trump has appointed a commission which is made up of the very people who are going to financially benefit from AI and robotics, including some of the wealthiest people in the world, like Mr. Ellison, Mr. Zuckerberg, and the video CEO, Jensen Huang. And needless to say, there is no reputation on that commission of workers or environmentalists or consumers. And that is why, in my view, we need a very different approach. Across the country, communities are already pushing back against the unchecked expansion of data centers. More than 100 localities have enacted moratoriums or restrictions, and states are beginning to take action as well. Importantly, and this is a very important point, leaders within the AI industry have called for a pause. The guys who know the most about the threats.
The only people that don't want to pause are the people that want to make massive amounts of money off of this.
This is about 3 years ago. Over 1,000 experts, including Elon Musk, called for AI labs to, quote, immediately pause for at least 6 months, end quote.
Yeah.
And
What's
if
wrong
such
with pausing
pause
for
were
6
not
months?
Enacted, and clearly a pause was not enacted, they called on governments, quote, to step in and institute a moratorium. They understood what is at stake. Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and I understand what is at stake. That is why today we are announcing legislation to impose a moratorium on the construction of new AI data centers until strong national safeguards are in place to ensure that AI is safe and effective. That means the government reviews and approves AI products before they are released. Further, that the economic gains of AI and robotics will benefit ordinary Americans and not just the billionaire owners of the industry. Further, that AI data centers do not increase electricity or utility prices, harm communities, or destroy the environment. Importantly, this legislation would also impose a ban on the export of AI chips to any country without such protections, including China. A moratorium will give us time to understand the risks, time to protect working
DVA
families,
said,
time
wait,
to
Dennis
defend our
Wong sounds
democracy,
familiar. I
and
think
time
he's
to
a
ensure that
minority
the
owner of the
technology
Clippers,
works
which
for
are
all of
being
us, not just
investigated
the
to breaking
So,
the salary
with that,
cap rules
let me now
in the
introduce
NBA. No
Congresswoman
way.
from New
Okay,
York,
hold on. Let's look that up.
Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
Thank you. Thank you, Senator. First and foremost, I want to take a moment to express my gratitude to Senator Sanders for bringing us together today to introduce this critical legislation. Within just a matter of short years, AI has become often forcibly integrated into many aspects of American existence, into our doctors' offices, our government, and oftentimes to the detriment of working people. Last year alone, AI was responsible for over 54,000 layoffs nationwide. And when we talk about those jobs, it's not just a number. These are industries, these are communities, these are families. You know, just a few short years ago, Sam Altman came before Congress. And in a direct plea, he begged us to regulate this industry. He said that these tools were under no circumstances ready, nor should they be integrated into weapons of war. That we must impose severe regulations immediately to prevent mass layoffs and to ensure that any productivity that comes of this industry can benefit working people. 3 short years later, none of that has happened. And in fact, in many cases, the opposite has happened. I'll start with another quote from Sam Altman, who said 10 years ago, AI will probably lead to the end of the world, but in the meantime, there will be great companies created with serious machine learning.
Oh my God.
While I'm happy that Mr. Altman is responsible on his end of the deal, you know, he has his responsibilities on the company side. Our responsibility is to take care of people, and that is what we're here to do today. Unfortunately, the leaders of this industry have repeated time and time again that they view working.
Yeah, DVA, I Googled Dennis Wong, like AI. I don't see anything in regards to AI, but yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if people, people have money. Obviously, he's an owner of a sports team. Why would he not want to diversify his interest? I mean, his investments, and that includes AI.
People as an endless untapped market to be manipulated and exploited. That they would sell our country out if it meant that they could turn a profit. And it is no surprise that in the 4 years since ChatGPT was released, we have seen AI deployed at a massive scale to create Big Brother-like surveillance. Every day, Americans are seeing videos of ICE agents waving phones into crowds, threatening that if they use their First Amendment rights, U.S. citizens using their First Amendment rights, that they will be added to some vague database that the American people have not consented to nor are knowledgeable about. Companies like Palantir are mining endlessly the data and privacy of the American people, keeping track of everything that they say and do, and sending it all to a militarized and centralized government. When you take the subway, when you share a TikTok, when you talk to your Alexa at home, they are collecting your data and figuring out new ways to weaponize it. And now they are using AI tools to automate this so that it is not only pervasive, but that it is effortless. We must sound the alarm now. And because of this surveillance of the American people is not going to stop, we must stop it. All of this harm has occurred not in spite of, but because of the absence of federal legislation to regulate AI. This is not my first bill around AI, and I can tell you that it is extremely discouraging to see how even the most minute efforts to protect people at some of the smallest and most basic level, like trying to prevent AI-generated child pornography, is still combated, oftentimes by many people here on the Hill and throughout industry. In this story, currently, the story of AI is a story of corruption. It is fueled and funded by the same multi-billion-dollar corporations lobbying politicians to sit back and do nothing while they harm our communities. In fact, one of the largest explosions of super PAC and outside funding is by the AI industry. And for years, Congress has enabled this permission structure, a permission structure that allows billionaires like Sam Altman, Elon Musk, and Peter Thiel to be trusted to regulate themselves under the guise of, quote, American innovation. And what are they asking for now? Endless energy. These companies are now so desperate to profit off of the AI boom that they are racing to construct thousands of giant AI data centers and jacking up the utility costs of everyday Americans to pay for it. These data centers power thousands of high-intensity computer chips that are processing at all times and require massive amounts of energy to operate. Just one hyperscale data center consumes the same amount of energy in 1 second as 100,000 households.
That's
because
crazy.
Of the massive amounts of energy
That's crazy.
they
And
use.
that's like another thing we need to go over is like the price of gas is going up and the price of electricity is going up. That's going to be detrimental to Californians all around. All around. This summer is going to be expensive.
Power and water utility companies must build multi-billion-dollar infrastructure to keep up with the demand. And these companies are not paying for their own energy infrastructure. People's energy bills around the country are skyrocketing in order to pay for these AI data centers for them. In the last 5 years, Americans who live near data centers saw their electric bills increase over 267% each month. We are talking about a monthly increase from $80 a month to $294 a month. Working people are already living paycheck to paycheck in some states off of wages as low as $7.25 an hour, another federal minimum wage that Congress also refuses to raise.
Yeah.
They simply cannot afford another increase to their monthly bills. And this results in people cutting corners whenever they can to keep the lights on, whether it's skipping meals or rationing their insulin. And while the American people are suffering, big tech continues to demand more. More data centers, more energy, more data collection, more American jobs replaced by AI, all on the feet of the American people to pay. And across the country, Democrats, Republicans, and independents are standing up. People are standing up to big tech and saying no to these data centers being built in their own communities. More than 100 local communities across 12 states have already enacted local moratoriums on data centers, and Congress itself has a moral obligation to stand with them and stop big tech from ruining their communities. Our legislation in the House and the Senate would hit the brakes on construction of new data centers until we address several of the key areas of harm AI poses. Our bills learn from our lack of regulation following the similar rise regarding the internet and demands a new approach to AI, one that protects the American people from big tech's egregious overreach, one bound by our shared commitment over those who wish to patent it, one that centers prosperity for the many over
I don't think the
profits.
Republicans are interested in regulating AI, especially if Jay Obernolte is pro AI.
Yes, who are you in?
Here, I found this article that we can read on Jay Obernolte. See, he wants to be the AI leadership. Okay, so now they're asking questions at this press conference.
Economic, national security. I'm curious, when that critique is raised to you, what do you say to that? Is that something you're concerned
Well,
about?
I think the good news here, and it's not widely known, is there are a number of Chinese scientists who share the same concern that American scientists are worried about. And that is, if we don't get a handle on AI, there are going to be enormous existential consequences.
Yeah.
So I think in a sane world, what happens
If
is
China
the leadership of the
and
United States
us and every
sits
other
down
country
with the
could be
leadership
working
in
together
China
on AI,
and leadership
that would be
around
great.
the world to work together
Yeah.
so that we don't go over the edge and create a technology which could perhaps destroy humanity.
Yeah, and then we're gonna have an AI arms race essentially with every other country because I don't know. We need to get AI. It'll be a race to whoever could get the most effective AI into their militaries, so that way we don't have to lose like human lives. I guess I don't know.
But I would say there are Chinese scientists fairly high up in the government who share those concerns. We've got to immediately, with a sense of urgency, bring those people together. Anything you want to add to that, Rosanna?
I mean, I think the concern there is easily remedied by passing protections for people. We need to sort out energy sources. Once these companies can be on the up and up, providing their own energy, building out and investing in the infrastructure, refusing to free ride off of the American people, then we can continue to develop and explore this technology. I don't think that this is about a denialism of science or American competitiveness, but it is about an integration of protection of the American people instead of allowing this to happen at their expense.
And furthermore, this legislation will prohibit the export of...
DV8 said first a robot to the moon. How have you seen the first robot to walk with the first lady? Because that just happened. Look at that. Look at that. Melania Trump and robot walking down to let us know that they found and captured Osama bin Laden. Ladies and gentlemen, mission accomplished. Wow, the AI robot didn't even let her walk first. Disgusting. Why does she have to walk exactly like it? Where did the robot go? It just walked off the set. Oh, okay. It's walking to the front. Oh my God, it's so creepy with the...
Thank you, First Lady Melania Trump, for inviting me to the White House. It is an honor to be at Fostering the Future Together's Global Coalition inauguration. I'm figure...
The robot said age before beauty. I'd kick the robot, yes. I just want to like push it down, just be like, get out of here. Leave me alone. Akira. Sorry.
3, a humanoid built in the United States of America.
Oh.
I am grateful to be part of this historic movement to empower children with technology and education. Welcome.
Why does it have a feminine voice but a masculine body? I feel like Republicans are going to start transvestigating these robots. They're like, are we sure this robot doesn't have a prostate? I'm sorry. But this is the path we're going to go down, you know? Oh my God, your fembot was actually a male bot. Did you know that? And it got transgender surgery. And then it's going to be a competition to see who has, we heard about MAGA face. What about MAGA face on robots? Oh my God. These Republicans are going to have, the best robotic sex slaves with MAGA face, and and then we're going to have to transvestigate them. Does it have a placenta? No, the robot. Oh my God. Could you imagine robots capable of carrying human fetuses like in their center of their body? Is this the world we're coming to?
Bienvenidos. Yokoso.
Oh no. The robot's talking multiple languages. Deport it. Are we sure it's American?
Próximo daí. Lasciavo próximo.
Oh my God. It's just speaking so many languages. And it's walking away. Wow, Melania. Oh my God. These. Okay. I'm not going to comment on the women's face. Not on Women's History Month. It's just going away? That's it? Oh my God. Wait. Let me see the robot dump truck. Melania, get out of the way. Let me see that dumpy. There it is. Oh my God. Look at it's. They gave the robot a terrible ass. That robot needs a BBL. TV8 said, I'm surprised it didn't do a certain salute. Yeah, they had to program it to not do that salute.
Welcome to the White House.
That's it? That's it? The robot just walks away without a handler?
Day 2 of fostering the future together. It's fair to state you're my first American-made humanoid guest in the White House.
In the White House.
But moreover, it is my distinct honor to receive such an impressive group of leaders today. 45 of you have traveled from every corner of the planet to represent your nation as a part of this new coalition.
Stardust City Hag said it got that fast. No, you're right. You're right. It doesn't even, it just... There's no butt. It's just thigh with a little hump, with a little. Oh my God. I can't believe Elon Musk is making non-sexy robots. I can't believe Larry Ellison and Mark Zuckerberg and all of these people are making masculine, squared-shouldered robots with feminine voices. Where's my waifu a big titty anime robots that we were promised? I don't want this gender neutral androgynous ass robot, doesn't even have like chest. It's just flat chested and not even Dorito shaped. I'm sorry. We're going way too hard on this robot. I think it's a very pretty robot. Please don't hurt me. Okay. Back to AI. That was fun. All right. Let's read Jay Obernolte. The green M&M is not sexy anymore. Stop. That's a good one, homie. Make robots and the green M&M sexy again. Okay, this is from February 5th, 2026 by Brendan Borleon and Benjamin Guggenheim. What are these names? It's from Politico. Tech companies desperately want Congress to pass a federal law this year blocking state rules on artificial intelligence. And many think their best shots lie with California Republican Jay Obernolte, a former computer engineer now serving his third term in the White House. And if for those of you who didn't know, Jay Obernolte isn't just the first computer engineer congressperson. He is also the first congressperson to make video games. And the most recent game he worked on, I'm not even going to say Scarface, when he was at Fox. Oh my God. The like in his office he has a little picture, a little plaque of the video game he made, which was like Madden 1 or something. We can't find it. We can't find it. Anyways. Yeah, he definitely worked on video games back in the 80s and early 90s. And now he's just a congressperson from like he was also former mayor of Big Bear Lake. That city is in the Inland Empire, but it's in the mountain area. You know where Big Bear is. He was mayor there. And he was he's just basically a congressperson that is kind of has it easy because he doesn't represent a lot of people. And I think the people just, don't care to vote. But we'll see. DV8 said, yeah, he was on the Fox News clip. He's surprising. I mean, I guess shouldn't be surprisingly. He goes on Fox News a lot. Because that's, he's speaking to his base. There's just one problem. House GOP leaders don't appear to be listening to him. Yeah, because they didn't care about AI until it could make them money. AI industry lobbyists have been pushing Capitol Hill for months to pass a bill that would preempt the ability of states to enact AI laws, arguing it would stop a patchwork of conflicting state rules from impeding innovation. Yeah, I'm sure it's just about impeding innovation. Many see Olbernolty, who co-chaired bipartisan AI task force last Congress, and has had deep relationship across the aisle, as their greatest hope for action before the end of the year. Yeah, AOC was also on that AI task force with him. They say his technical acumen and consensus building approach on AI will be the key to clinching an agreement with Democrats, necessarily in a politically polarized Washington. If there is anyone in the House who can run point and cobble together the pieces on what meaningful federal AI standards and AI package could look like, it's Jay Olbernolty, said Tony Stamp, principal AI advisor at lobbying firm DLA Piper, in an interview. Yes, because Jay Olbernolty is the AI guy, and he's all in on AI. He's not about restricting it. He's not about regulating it. He's about just working for those AI companies to make it as open and available as possible. Olbernolty is currently working on an AI bill that could pair preemption of state AI laws with a framework to regulate the technology, including new research infrastructure and safety checks on advanced AI models. A compromise that senior AI lobbyists now support after Hill Republicans failed twice last year to unilaterally block state AI regulations. I see. So while each individual state was going and regulating AI, Olbernolty was like, no. We need to have federal rules banning individual states from regulating AI in the way that they see. It's always funny how Republicans are all for states' rights, except for when the states do things against stuff they want. He said, you need to codify the federal regulatory framework for AI. And if you don't do that, essentially you're saying there's no regulation, said Olbernolty in a recent interview. And I don't blame people for being uncomfortable with that. But yeah, he was advocating for it. But 4 senior tech industry representatives who don't want a deal granted anonymity to discuss sensitive legislative talks, said Olbernolty. Olbernolty's influence has been so far stifled by GOP leadership, and that he's been largely absent from high-level Hill negotiations over the future of AI policy. It's a sign, they said, that Republican leaders may not be serious about reaching an AI compromise, despite President Donald Trump's recent call for Congress to come up with a solution to thwart states from freelancing. Both the tech industry representatives and some Democrats instead worry that GOP leaders are refusing to budge on their stance that there should be a minimal regulation of the technology. a position shared by some venture capitalists and White House officials. House GOP leader publicly insists that they're on the same page with Obernolte and his shared goals of drafting consensus legislation that would preempt state AI laws, even as they have so far failed to embrace his ideas and in fact appear determined to pursue other tracks. A spokesperson for House Majority Leader Steve Scazzoli, I don't know how to say this guy's name, said that while Louisiana Republicans support a relatively hands-off approach to AI regulation, preempting a patchwork of countless varying state laws does not mean no guardrails. Nonetheless, Scalzi recently expressed skepticism toward any regulations on the sector, a stance that could make a political compromise on AI harder to achieve. A lot of these people that want to limit and regulate any industry, a lot of times what they're really trying to do is make it hard to do things in America. Yeah, I don't know about that. I feel like regulations isn't just to make things hard. There's some backing behind it. Deviate said my cat is listening in. Beautiful, beautiful. I have no cats in the room with me right now. They're with their other mommy. We should maintain that edge, and we do it by innovating, not regulating. The four tech representatives said they've so far seen little to suggest that leadership is interested in Obernolte plan for an AI accord. They said he should have brought into the preemption efforts last year after Senate Commerce Chair Ted Cruz fell short on his efforts to insert a ban on the state AI rules into the GOP's tax and spending megabill. They also said Obernolte's absence from last fall's unsuccessful push by House leadership to insert a similar provision into the year-end defense bill was unfortunate, largely because it made a compromise tougher to achieve. It was a little surprising that one of their best players wasn't even in the game during the last push for federal AI standards, said Samp. Connor Chapinski, Obernolte's communication director, downplayed the characterization that Obernolte is being kept away from GOP's high-level AI strategy. In a statement, he said Obernolte remains fully engaged in his leadership and the Trump administration around crafting thoughtful legislation. How much you want to bet that Obernolte is being excluded because he's not like 100% Trump loyalist? You know what I mean? Yes, Obernolte is a Republican, and I think he was endorsed by Trump. I'm not sure, but it's clear that he's more than willing to work with Trump. He's one of those California Republicans that like have to play this like weird, yeah, I support Trump, but I don't, but also I do, but he's bad. He's done bad things, but also I agree with some of his things. Maybe because Obernolte wasn't like everyone else who immediately went to Donald Trump after at his inauguration. And Obernolte wasn't like, yes, sir, I'm here to do anything I can. Obernolte was just being, a congressperson about it. Maybe the Trump administration is looking for someone that's more of a loyalist to put in charge of AI. Because I don't know if Obernolte is that much of a Trump loyalist. In a statement, he said Obernolte remains fully engaged with his leadership and the Trump administration around crafting thoughtful legislation. Athena Lawson, a spokesperson for Speaker Mike Johnson, in a statement credited Obernolte's chairmanship of the task force with giving members a clearer understanding of how to responsibly leverage the opportunities of artificial intelligence. She said GOP leadership is coordinating with the Trump administration on AI and plans to work through committees of jurisdiction to build consensus among Republicans. The task force, that was the one that Obernolte and AOC were in together, the task force 255-page report released by Olbernolty and fellow Californian Ted Lieu, a Democrat, in December 2024, laid out a sleight of findings and policy recommendations related to AI. Yet, despite some interest from the tech industry, the panel was not renewed by the GOP leadership, and its recommendations have gone virtually unheeded. One senior GOP aide who works on AI policy granted anonymity to discuss internal GOP strategy, said the report was produced under former President Joe Biden and was somewhat outdated now that we have a new administration and new dynamic in Congress. Wow, of course. So they're just going to redo the AI task force under Trump. A senior Democratic aide who was closely involved with the task force, also granted anonymity to speak candidly, said it has become clear over a period of time that Mr. Olbernolty, for better or for worse, has been sort of sidelined. He was like their lead guy on AI, put in a corner. Nobody puts Olbernolty in a corner. Some Democrats are now looking to exploit what they perceived as a leadership gap on AI policy and the other side of the aisle. Lieu now co-chairs a new House Democratic Commission on AI, convened by House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries and co-chaired by Representative Josh Gottheimer from New Jersey and Valerie Fauci from North Carolina. In absence of the bipartisan action, they plan to formulate their own plan for regulating the fast-moving technology. And watch, they do this, and then the Democrats get the presidency next presidential election, and then they just go with this partisan plan instead of having a bipartisan plan on AI, because the Republicans got greedy and were like, nope, we don't want to have a bipartisan AI plan. We want to have a partisan AI plan. If they do that, if the Republicans make another AI committee, but for the Republicans only, that'll be crazy. And that makes sense, because they don't want any Democrats involved in AI, unless they're supportive of AI, I guess. The White House has led the industry astray, down a bad path, Lieu said in an interview. Steve Scalise is very opposed to any kind of legislation at the federal level, and that's now resulted in three things in the tech industry. Three things the tech industry wanted to avoid, which is backlash from the public, backlash from bipartisan members of Congress, and multiple states regulating their industry. Gottheimer, in a recent interview, said, "I think Republicans have certainly seceded the turf. There are signs that GOP leaders are starting to feel pressured to legislate on AI." Ohio Representative Jim Jordan, chair of the Judiciary Committee, which has a jurisdiction over AI issues like privacy, surveillance, and intellectual property, suggested in a Monday interview that, "I don't know about moving anything, but we're definitely talking about AI." Jordan added that one of his staffers had just informed him that his panel should ramp up those decisions. Wow. So basically, Jay Olbernolty is not the AI guy anymore, at least from what insiders are saying about the Trump administration's relationship with Jay Olbernolty. Crazy. Let's finish this real quick.
Chips to China and other countries. Yes, sir.
You mentioned 267% electric bills up each month. The administration has taken some steps to remedy these concerns. I wonder what you make of their actions. My second question for both of you is, do either of you guys use artificial intelligence in your everyday lives?
Okay, the question was, how do you...
in terms of the impact that it's having, I think
in everyday
we just need
lives,
to ask everyday people on if they're feeling the effects of that. I think as much as, as much as as I personally have differences with this administration, I would want them to be successful in reducing the energy bills of American people, but people aren't feeling it. It's not working.
Yeah.
In New York City alone, there are some families that are getting electric bills that are $600 a month, as high as some people were paying in rent not too long ago before our housing costs
$600
skyrocketed
for
as well.
rent.
So I don't think those efforts are working on behalf of the administration. As far as AI, I do not regularly integrate it into my daily life, but I know many people do. I think our job tends to be a little bit more, for me, a lot of my job is quite writing based, and I like to do my own. Thank you.
Oh, okay. She says AI doesn't help me write.
To answer the question, we have looked at AI. We did a chat with Claude recently. But I don't use it on a regular basis.
Claude and the
Other
oligarchs.
questions? Yes.
Igor, Huffington Post. Senator, do you think the Democratic Party is taking the threat of AI seriously enough? And can you talk a little bit
The
about
question
AI
was,
influence
do you
in
think the Democratic Party is taking the threat of AI enough?
They have a lot of money in.
Good.
And is AI going to have influence on elections?
No, I don't think the Democratic Party leadership is taking this issue anywhere near as seriously as it should. We need to develop a sense of urgency here.
Yeah.
The economic impacts are going to be enormous. The impacts on our children will be enormous. And again, there is literally an existential threat to the existence of the human race. Now, you tell me, do you think that leadership here on either side of the aisle, you say, whoa, we better get moving on this thing? The answer is no. And the second point, the question you're raising that the Congresswoman mentioned, let us be clear. Why is Congress not moving aggressively? Well, maybe it has something to do with 150 million and more that is coming in to Congress in campaign contributions and in super PACs. When you have a class of people who are multi-billionaires spending a few $100 million on elections is chicken feed, okay? And that is what they are doing. So what they're saying to members of Congress and candidates, you're going to stand up to us? Well, guess what? There's going to be a $20 million ad campaign coming tomorrow starting against you.
Terrible.
That's reality. Other questions? Yes, sir.
So this has been said that the data centers and the chip makers and the app makers have kind of created this circular, loan and.
Okay. The question was AI data centers and chip makers and have made like a self-reinforcing loop, right?
It's created a bubble. Am I pulling out?
That's creating the AI bubble.
Pull out of that. And another question is, what do you make of Claude?
Your first question, it's an important question. It's a little bit different than what we're talking about today. You're talking about the possibility of a bubble bursting and having enormous economic impact. I think that's true.
Yeah.
But above and beyond that, what we're talking about is a technology, bubble or no bubble, that is going to have a real impact on American society. You asked me about my chat with Claude. I'll tell you, it was a little bit mind-blowing.
Mind-blowing,
you can
yeah.
very easily, and again, I suppose the young people have more familiarity with it than I do. It is amazingly easy to start seeing this entity, this AI agent, or call it what you might, as a human being.
Yeah.
And please remember, importantly, AI is only going to get more and more effective in years to come.
It's only convincing you that they're a human being.
Old. And yet you sit down and you can absolutely, hey, have a nice day. How are you? I'm pretty good. How are you doing?
Yeah.
Okay. You can get into that. And I want you to think about what it will mean to a 13-year-old girl who is struggling and having AI as her best friend, or a 15-year-old boy, or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
These are real serious dangers. But to answer your question, it is mind-blowing how quickly you can somehow see this as a human agent. Okay, yes.
There's some other ideas that are being floated in the Hill.
Okay. Let's see. This is the last question.
Make it so that these companies are paying for their own or producing their own energy. Why not go that route? Why do more?
Okay.
Because that's one part of the problem.
Okay. That was a lame question. Okay. I think that's it. That's all I wanted to cover today. And I'm going to give myself a little, I was expecting to stream until 2, but as you know, I need to get ready for school and stuff, need to take care of my grandmother a little bit. So let's say goodbye for now. I'll put the low poly erythral intelligent drum and bass. Put the robot back up. Dang. Okay, hold on. Did anyone do any edits to it? No, no one's done any memes on this. There we go. Here. We'll just have this. It looks so bad.
Thank you, First Lady Melania. for
All
inviting
right.
me to the White House.
Peace out, everyone.
It is an
Have a
honor to be
good
fostering
rest
the
of your
Future Together's
day.
Global Coalition inaugural
Hopefully
meeting.
this robot
I'm
does
figure
not
three.
come for you in your dreams, because I feel like it's going to come for me in mine. It's going to be standing. It's my new paralysis demon, is the Melania robot that I think they named it Plato or whatever. Or maybe Aristotle. I don't remember what they named it. But yeah, this robot with the, what was it? With the THAS. With the THAS is going to be our new paralysis demon. So anyways, have a good night, everyone. It's been a pleasure. We'll be back later this week. Maybe tomorrow. I'm not sure. There, see the robots waving goodbye. 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 Bye, robot. Goodbye, AI. All right. Peace out, everyone. Take care. Have a good rest of your day.
Dobrodošli.